Hello, people of the internet. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer, once again here, and we're continuing our mini lessons in Astrologer, how to read a birth chart series videos, and we're halfway through the signs. And in this video, we're going to continue with Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. And so for those of you who don't know, I do these kind of how to read a birth chart, astrology basic videos, tutorials of what things are and what things represent. And if any kind of, the words I speak are confusing, maybe it's astrological lingo, most of the stuff I'm going to use in these videos I have already talked about in previous lessons, so just check out other videos on my channel. And we're going to be using we're going to still use the whole sign house system and take a look at the Placidus house system in a later video. Now let's start off and jump right in, and I'm going to first just show you the symbol of Libra, and this is it. And so what is this Libra really about, and what does it represent in the real world? So Libra is a lot about relationships. So this is, if you're not going to remember anything from other than this from this video, fine, but remember that Libra is all about relationships. It's all about the other. It's all about the partner. It's where we make deals. It's where we negotiate. It's where we form relationships, partnerships, and it's obviously marriage as well. It's more of those long-term partnerships in our lives, but also kind of in general represents relationships, and very important as well, diplomacy. It's also a lot to do with art and design, and more of a kind of refined art and architecture, for example, is a good one. Contracts, also a lot to do with Libra, the sign of Libra. And important to remember, guys, if you haven't seen my previous videos, the elemental and the quality side of the sign. So Libra is an air sign with a cardinal quality. So this I think needs a little bit of a dissection as well. Remember, guys, cardinal is a lot to do with taking action and taking initiative and movement, and air very much so as well. So Libra is a kind of action oriented sign. So it is at times we say it's kind of like a masculine or a feminine sign in a masculine in core. You can put it that way. Basically, Libra has, I think, a very, very nice balance, which also Libra represents, has a very nice balance of masculine and feminine energies. So I think this is worth a mention. But again, what is air about? It's a lot about ideas and new ideas, and cardinal, again, initiating and taking action with those ideas. But there is a side of the Libra energy or Libra sign, like I mentioned. Remember, maybe some of you already remember, Gemini is also an air sign. It's very kind of like a social butterfly. Now Libra, I wouldn't say is such a social butterfly, but they kind of, because they move so fast and the ideas move so quickly and they have all these new ideas, there is a kind of like a sense of them not wanting to go deeper. There is a sense of them being a little bit more shallower than maybe most people would want, or some people at least would want. So there is a tendency to kind of brush aside some things that maybe need deeper focus. So it is a common theme with air signs in general. There is a kind of like it seems at times that there's like this emotional distance, but it is the fact that the air is always changing, it's always shifting, it's always new. So these air signs are constantly thinking new things, saying new things, wanting new experiences, mostly. Now, I remember balance. Balance is wherever Libra goes in the natal chart. This is quite an important as well. We need to use and exercise the energy of Libra, which is balance. We need to balance that area of our lives, and we need to also have a diplomatic approach, other people's perspectives. We need to understand other people's perspectives. We need to balance in our own lives these areas. And very important with Libra energy, because the sign of Libra does tend to go into extremes, and one of the reasons is to learn that balance, because Libra goes into extremes and then comes back and starts to balance it. They really need communication, being in community, kind of being in relationships, exchanging ideas constantly. This is very, very, very important for them. Feel a lot better. Social order is Libra. Lawyers is also Libra. Let me see what I wanted to also say about Libra that I really think is important. Remember, guys, we're going to, we're kind of brushing here. We're doing our best to kind of, in a short period of time, go into as much as possible and, talk about the most important part of the sign. Equality, very important, equality. And, wherever there's Libra in our charts, we shouldn't, use, let's say, I'm not saying you should use it anyway, but you shouldn't use kind of like these controversial tactics of maybe wanting to deceive the other. It's a very karmic sign as well. Libra is very important. And I did a video on my channel about Libra and karma. So fairness and kind of like fairness and balance and diplomacy are the things that we need to really use wherever Libra is in the birth chart. So I think that's it for now for Libra, and let's go over to the next sign, which is Scorpio. Scorpio is here, not to be confused with Virgo, that we already spoke about in the last video. But Scorpio energy, again, let's start immediately with the elemental and quality side of Scorpio. And this is an interesting one because it has the quality of fixed. Remember, fixed is very grounded, very kind of takes its time, and holds on to a lot of things, doesn't let go. Stubborn is fixed for sure. But now the elemental side of Scorpio is water. Remember, guys, water is very fluid, it's very intuitive, it's very emotional, very, very, very feeling oriented, feeling based, and kind of creative based and intuition based. So if these two kind of weirdly, we can say that they don't match really, but it is about understanding how they manifest and how it actually manifests through the Scorpio sign into the real world. So it tends to, or Scorpios do tend to hold on to a lot of things. They are very intuitive. The intuition, the feeling life is very deep for a Scorpio. And, very often they are very private and they don't allow that feeling life to be seen by a lot of people, depending on other factors as well. And when something happens, they don't really let go of it at all, and they kind of hold on to it, and it's almost like a grudge. It's the Scorpio, makes, even if they don't need to, at times they make enemies out of people, because it can be even like a small thing that somebody did to them in the past maybe, but they're still holding on to it and really, really, really maybe even want revenge, in extreme cases. So it is a bit of a difficult energy, probably understand to kind of channel or manifest in this lifetime. And wherever a Scorpio goes in our birth chart, this is a lot of the times we will experience the deepest and most, like the hardest and the deepest transformations in our lives. Now, guys, if you're confused about, what area, I'm talking about houses, and houses I'm going to also more in depth, talk about in previous or in the next videos. But let's focus on right now. So the area Scorpio goes, the biggest transformations there, but also and the difficult transformations, but also the positive side of this is after we go through these transformations in those Scorpionic areas, there is a chance for us to find the most power in those areas in our lives as well. So it's not the worst. So one of the biggest things, transformation. Scorpio is transformation, kind of like rebirth and then rising like a phoenix. Everything that's very deep, esoteric, the deeper side of astrology, very Scorpionic, secrets, traumas, shamans, psychologists, traumas, everything associated with those types of things is Scorpio. Birth, rebirth, death, very much important to understand. That is also Scorpio. And it's important to understand that it's like one of the biggest challenges there also is to transform in that Scorpio area. So if we're looking at a very Scorpionic person who has a lot of influences in Scorpio, that a lot of their let's say this life's goal is to transform, and it's constant transformation in their life. It obviously you can understand that this isn't the best or kind of like the easiest way to live your life, but the important thing here is to understand that one of the reasons that they're going through these transformations is to start helping other people as well, because earthly experience isn't always fun and games and rainbows. It's a lot about transforming and getting deeper connection to your intuition, feelings, emotions, to be able to help others through these matters as well, because there's a lot of not so easy experiences on this earth as well. Scorpios also is there's an energy, there's an element of they can suppress a lot of that kind of depth, and then once like the cup is too much or to fill to the brim, let's put it that way, then they can kind of explode, and a lot of emotion can come out. Mostly they are very reserved and kind of know how to, because of that transformation, they have that understanding of emotional maturity, but at times it can go to suppression as well. So it's important to, I think, also sex is represented by Scorpio as well. Everything, death, other side, other realms where dead people are. This is all about Scorpio. Now let's take a lighter side. After Scorpio comes Sagittarius. So it's not a coincidence that when we transform in this Scorpio section in the natal chart, this is, now we come to the Sagittarius, the higher wisdom, the higher knowledge. This is where we gain the higher knowledge. It's always necessary to go through that transformation to be able to access that higher wisdom, higher understanding, and this is all about, or this is what Sagittarius is all about. And from an elemental perspective, it's a fire sign. I remember fire sign is excited, wants adventure, action oriented more, wants to do things, wants to create things, wants to make things. But the quality side of Sagittarius is mutable. So when you put fire and mutable together, a lot of these people want, changes. They want to travel. They want to go on to different kinds of adventures. They want different kinds of knowledge. They want different kinds of wisdom, and they have access to it as well. And Sagittarius does almost intuitively brings that knowledge to humans. And wherever Sagittarius is in our birth charts, this is where we towards those areas, or in those areas, we have kind of like good karma, and we also have easy access to these matters. So usually in those areas where Sagittarius is, we kind of, things come on their own. We don't really have to do a lot of work for the results to come. It comes a lot easier because it's associated with hard work done in previous lifetimes. It's a very, very optimistic sign. Remember, fire, optimism, kind of excited. It burns for that, and that mutable kind of change side of that. It constantly wants to change. It wants to do and wants to go different places. Wants to do different things constantly. I think one of the most excited people, usually have a strong Sagittarius in their chart, or a lot of influences in Sagittarius. They are usually the most excited, and all fire signs are usually the most excited people. They're kind of like bubbly all the time. So, and Sagittarius is not usually any different, depending on some other factors at times in the chart. So let's talk about other things. Higher wisdom, we mentioned, higher learning. This also includes universities, getting that higher knowledge and wisdom and philosophies from those places. Lot of passion these people have. They let's say the more younger Sagittarius usually is more about excitement, parties, adventures, going traveling to different countries. And the more mature the Sagittarius becomes, it kind of starts to understand these deeper things, the importance of knowledge and wisdom, and the importance of teaching and preaching to other people. And these are, Sagittarius are very much the best mentors usually. They have this, because you remember, they have this access to these higher realms of existence, so they can bring information from those places. And religion also, about beliefs, is a big part of Sagittarius. So wherever Sagittarius is in our chart, this is where what we believe in. And also very important, the next, I would say even at times more important than that, is wherever Sagittarius is in the birth chart, this is where we can, from those areas, we can derive a lot of meaning from. And I did kind of like an example video as well on this subject especially, and it's on this channel, and you can go and take a look at it. It's a technique how to kind of find more meaning and create more meaning in your life. Very enthusiastic, and it's also, Sagittarius, a lot to do with seeing kind of like the big picture. They aren't in those small areas, everyday mundane things. They are looking at the bigger picture. They're looking at where we're headed as a society. They kind of are in a way showing us the path to that as well. And one of the tasks for them is to kind of raise the consciousness, raise the wisdom of human beings to be able to go into the future in a better way. Daredevils, there are very daredevils, like physical pleasures, sex also, and yeah, quite restless usually. What did I want to say about this? Yeah, if they are already mature, then they are very humanistic, all about justice and law and kind of like what is right. But if they're younger, they're more geared towards searching for excitement, adventure, parties, traveling. Also, Sagittarius is everything in the foreign countries, foreign cultures, spirituality is Sagittarius. So I think that's it. Hopefully you got a taste of what these signs are. And if you're a bit confused, how does this, tie into reading a birth chart? Don't worry, guys. We're going through the signs, then we know the signs. Then we're going to add the houses, and then I'm going to show you how to combine these two. So stick around, don't worry. Important thing is to get the foundations right, know the signs, know the houses, and then get onwards or go onwards to a little bit, more difficult topics, and it will all start to make sense soon. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer, out for now. See you in the next video.